Today, we are doing my top 5 favorite heroes from Marvel Champions, the card game. So now, this isn't necessarily a list of what I think are the best heroes or the strongest heroes, or even the heroes I play as the most. This is simply just my 5 favorite heroes as of recording this. Now, if you've been around for a long time, or for a while at least, you know that about 2-3 months ago, I put together a ranking of every hero in Marvel Champions as of the end of 2021. Now, in that ranking, I have some S-tier heroes, some mid-tier, some low-tier heroes that might not necessarily be in those places anymore. And I wanted to give a brief update of that, but in a different format, in the top 5 format. On top of that, I wanted to do this before the Sinister Motives expansion came out because I'm pretty sure one of the heroes in that box is going to become my new favorite hero. I'll put a card in the corner. I just forget which corner it is, but I'll put a card in the corner that lets you see what my thoughts are on that box. I also wanted to give you a really interesting fun fact. Did you know that 76% of the people that watch my videos aren't subscribed to my channel? 76%. So if you're watching this right now, if you could do me a huge favor and just scroll down just a little bit and hit that subscribe button. Turn it from red to gray. I would really appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. No, seriously, go scroll down, hit it. I'm not moving on with the video until you hit it. So hit it, hit it, hit it, hit the button, hit the button. Come on, hit the button, hit the button. All right, the first hero I want to go over is Captain Marvel from the core box. Now, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to kind of embarrass myself with this. When I was a very young, naive Marvel Champions player, I didn't realize the importance of card draw. And because of that, I didn't realize how good Captain Marvel was, right? With her rechannel ability, when you spend an energy resource, it lets you heal a damage from her and then draw a card on top of it. Absolutely fantastic card. But with that, you have Photonic Blast that deals 5 damage. If you use energy resources, you get to draw a card. She has energy absorption, which gives you 3 energy resources right there, which is huge. And then you have cards, which are the obvious ones that stick out, like Energy Channel, where you can do 10 damage, right? She's one of those heroes that I kind of always wrote off a little bit. I was playing way too much Spider-Man. I was playing a lot of She-Hulk. But Captain Marvel is one of those heroes that, from core till now, I think is one of the strongest heroes, and she's one of my favorite because I love testing her against strong villains, right? When a new group of villains comes out, I like to put it against my best Captain Marvel deck and see how well it fares, right? It lets me judge how good that villain is or how difficult that villain is or what about that villain is difficult. I'm personally a huge fan of Captain Marvel. I've been playing her a lot recently, so I don't know if she'll stay in the top 5, but I definitely think for a while she'll be up there. I think she's just a joy. She's fun to play. And especially when introducing this game to new people, it's really nice to introduce her as that hero, right? I think she helps out new people a lot. So I am a huge fan of Captain Marvel. Definitely think she's going to be staying in my top 5 for a while. Hey, it's future me. I'm currently editing my top 5 favorite heroes in Marvel Champions of the card game. And I just wanted to make sure that you know that I'm over on twitch.tv/D20 Woodworking. I stream board games, I stream video games. Sometimes we just hang out and talk. And we built a really great community there that you should go check out. On Tuesday nights and Sunday nights, we stream board games generally, and sometimes Thursdays. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday after work, usually we're playing some video games. So, make sure to go click on the first link down in the description and go check out our little community. It's a lot of fun. It's a great time. Just wanted to make sure you're aware of it. All right, go enjoy the video. My next hero that I want to talk about is one that when it was first announced, I think people were a little unsure about. And that's because when Drax was announced, everyone assumed Drax would be this attack-heavy hero. And instead, they gave him a bunch of protection cards, and people didn't really understand. And as you dive into Drax, I think that becomes more apparent, right? So, for example, he starts with only 1 attack, but every single time the villain attacks Drax, you place 1 vengeance counter on him, up to a maximum of 3. You could do 4 damage, right? Which is really, really great. He has 14 life, which is good. But the protection cards that came with them, I think, are specifically designed for him. So, for example, Subdue, right? It's a 1-cost event. It adds -3 to the villain's attack, which already helps you out greatly. Most villains are only attacking for 3 or 4, so you're only going to take 1 damage, plus you get a vengeance counter on top of it. Cards like Leading Blow, once you get your attack up to 4 on Drax, just swinging for 4, or if you have Drax's knife and other knife, you're swinging for a bit more, that most likely there's not enough boost icons to cancel out the event or the attack completely, so you can attack twice in a row. the way they have that protection deck set up, it makes Drax a very offensive protection deck. So for me personally, who I don't enjoy playing protection much, this is an easy way to transition to that and to really explore the nuances of a protection deck. So that's why Drax is in my top 5. I think he's absolutely fantastic as a aggressive protection deck. I think it's certainly something really unique. I don't know how long he's going to stay up there because I don't know how well he works as justice or aggression. I've done it a couple times, and every single time I've played that, I've gone back to, well, I wish I was just playing his protection deck, because I think it's a super unique way to play the game. So I really enjoy it, but I hope he doesn't get completely pigeonholed in that spot, and I hope they keep coming out with more cards that help build out Drax a little bit more in the future. So really quick, once again, I want to reference that video that I made a while back. I'll have a link to it, but I had certain S tier heroes, and there was 3 of them that I had up there that I would play every single time, and one of them was Gamora. I've recently been playing a lot of Gamora, and she went from a top 5 hero to me to now a bit lower because I've now seen there are certain shortcomings with her. I think I've just overplayed her, and I'm a little exhausted at playing her. But there's 2 other heroes that were on the top of that list, and the first one is Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch is still a top 5 hero for me. Now, when they came out with Scarlet Witch, they built her as a justice hero. I think she works great in justice. I think she works great in leadership. I think she works great in aggression. I haven't tried her protection. She might work. I assume she would. But I think she's an overall awesome hero the way she works. I think the way that you go through the encounter deck, right, and use those boost icons to do different things, that's super unique and different. I really appreciate the way that they built her out, and I think because of that uniqueness and that she works for pretty much every single aspect, it's a hero that's probably going to stay in my top 5 for a really long time. I'm a huge fan of Scarlet Witch. In general, when it comes to mystics, they always tend to be a little overpowered. And I don't think she's an exception, but at least I think she's super unique in the way that she can play. So it's one of the few mystics I really enjoy playing consistently. And I think this is a card that stays in my top 5 for, quite some time. So now going along with that, my other S tier hero was Wasp. Now, this is the one that always threw people off, even on that video. Kind of threw people off. They didn't understand why that was a top 5 hero for me. On top of that, people always say, why don't you play Ant-Man instead? Isn't Ant-Man just the better version? I don't think Ant-Man is the better version. I think Ant-Man is as good as Wasp is, and I think I personally just have a soft spot for Wasp. When Ant-Man and Wasp first came out, they kind of came out right next to each other. Almost no one paid attention to Wasp. Everyone's focusing on Ant-Man because he is very straightforward, right? Ant-Man is very straightforward to play, and I think Wasp is a little more nuanced, right? With the idea of when to time her flips and when to use cards like Rapid Growth, right? Where you get +2 onto different powers, but you have to be in the small form, right, to go to the larger form. I think the way that big form isn't just more damage, right? It's more thwarting capabilities, and the small form is where the damage comes. And to maximize her piercing and overkill abilities, right? I think there's more nuance there, and that's what I've always appreciated about her. Again, Ant-Man's not bad. I think Ant-Man's fantastic, and if Ant-Man's in your top 5, I totally get it. But for me, it's just I always had a soft spot for Wasp. I recently played her again, and I still enjoy playing her a lot. I still think she's a lot of fun to play. I think she works well in aggression. I think she works well in justice. Again, leadership, I haven't played a ton with her, but I assume she works in that, and I still need to do protection. I'm not going to lie. I haven't played a lot of protection, but that's on my list, and I'm excited to see how protection works with her because she has a good base defense when she's in her big form, so it would be fascinating to see how that works. So Wasp, I haven't played her a ton recently. I just played a little bit, and just to remind myself, no, this is a hero that I enjoy a ton, and I think will, for at least a while, continue to be in my top 5. All right, the last one I kind of want to go over is one that was a mid-tier hero for me for a while. And as I was going through my top 5, I couldn't figure out why I originally had done this, and then I started looking through my playthroughs, and it's because from October and November, I played a ton of Black Widow, an absolute ton of that card. And as I played a ton of that card, I kind of got sick of her, right? I think she's a little bit pigeonholed in justice, and so I got tired of playing the same thing over and over and over. Now, fast forward to that video, I ranked her right in the mid tier of saying that I enjoy her sometimes. Didn't play her again for about 2 months, and then have been recently, or I guess a month, and been recently playing her more. I played her more, and the fact is, she's super unique, right? Black Widow is a really unique hero. She's a lot different, I think, than other heroes. Now, again, she kind of has the same problem, in my opinion, as Drax, where it makes the most sense to play her Justice because of her preparation cards, because of her spy cards. There isn't a ton of other aspects that really support her. So you're kind of stuck playing Justice, but I think that's okay for right now. I think, again, in the future, will I get tired of Black Widow? Yeah, I think so. But until then, the fact that you do, 1 damage, then 2 damage, then 3 damage, right? You have cards that can cancel out bad cards. Her resource generation ability is really good. I think there's a lot of things that make her super interesting, including, I did not realize until now, that her covert ops was not a hero action, that she can remove 4 threat from a scheme and confuse that villain while on her alter ego side, which now there's ways to play off of that, right? To improve that. So I think as I start paying more attention to her nuances, I think she gets really good. Again, she's a little bit pigeonholed in that sense of I feel like you have to, at least right now, play her as Justice. But that leads me to saying, what are your thoughts? What are your top 5? And am I playing Black Widow wrong? Like, is there a good version of her in protection, which is the thing I hear most of, right? There's a good version of her for protection, but is she good in other forms too? The same goes with Drax, right? Is there other aspects that will work really well with Drax? Let me know your thoughts below. Let me know your top 5. I'm always interested in hearing it. And if you want to know how I feel about each of these heroes, ally specific cards, I have a video for that. Make sure to check that out up here. And then if you want to know my thoughts on basic allies in the game, make sure to check out this video right here. I really appreciate it. All right, take care, all.